All right, guys, I think we should go ahead and start. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. As more and more will come in, we'll just have to catch up where we're at. We have Charles Edwards, Diego Martinez, Laura Gamastra, and Glenn Hughes will be joining us today. All right, guys, I think we should go ahead and start. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. As more and more will come in, we'll just have to catch up where we're at. I was getting a feedback from the live stream. All right, Charles, Glenn, whenever you guys are ready to go. Charles, Glenn, you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I think Glenn dropped off. I think you're going to need to do that intro. Can you do that?
Yeah, Glenn must have jumped off. So thank you for saying that, Rachel. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. It's a beautiful day here where we're at. I hope the same for you guys. Today we'll be going over the Safe Supply Chain course, which TIACA has done in conjunction with ICAO. We have with us Charles Edwards today who has helped create the course along with Sassy. And we have Diego Martinez, who's with ICAO, that will be giving his insights. And Laura Camastra, of course, is with ICAO as well. Feel free to give any questions towards the end with the chat feature. Any questions that you have will be, if we have a little bit of time towards the end of the webinar, we will be happy to address them. We hope that you get all your insights and your information that you need to make the decision on joining us for the next courses coming up. So with that, I thank you, and I'll pass it over to Charles.
Actually, I think Diego wants to say something.
Oh, Diego, I apologize for that.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost you.
Sorry, do you want me to introduce the opening remark?
Sí.
Por favor.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So good morning, everyone, and very pleased to be with you today. And I would like to thank our partner and the colleague of TIACA and Mr. Hughes for organizing this webinar and raise awareness of this important course, this important program. As a specialized agency in United Nations, ICAO plays a leading role in safely and securely facilitating the transport of air cargo. Cargo supply chains are often complex and subject to a range of regulatory requirements, especially when they include international movements and transport by air. Air cargo is handled along the chain until final destination by a number of entities with varying responsibility, including aircraft operator, express carrier, postal operator, regulated agent, freight forwarders, ground handlers, and so on. All those involved in this often complicated moment share the responsibility for ensuring the safety and security of the cargo and for operating within the law. In particular, they are responsible for ensuring that nothing contained in the cargo will endanger an aircraft or the life of those traveling. Moreover, in the current pandemic scenario, two major aspects need to be considered: the vital role of cargo plays in the rapid delivery of COVID-19 vaccines and related equipment, in addition to other medical suppliers and organs for transportation worldwide. And the tremendous growth of e-commerce, which turns what used to be multi-package shipments to retailers into individual shipments to consumers, thus exponentially increasing the number of shipments and related safety and security risks. The significant growth and increased complexity of air cargo transport and change in the type of cargo ship have made the need for a risk-based collaborative approach to managing cargo safety and security critical. Close working relationships with stakeholders throughout the supply chain is key to ensuring high standard of safety and reliability throughout the global aviation network. The ICAO TIACA Safe Supply Chain course bring all stakeholders together and create a greater awareness of each of one needs in a continuously evolving environment for cargo transportation, so that air cargo can grow security and more efficiency. This course is part of the program of Trainer Plus Partnership, the network of training center, institution, and university that ICAO work globally for the implementation of training and education programs. We want to partner with the leaders in all the specialties. This course is just the initial work, the first program with TIACA, and we think that will be the foundation for a more global and expanded implementation of both institutions working together. Thank you all of you, and thank you. We have Laura Camastra, this our partnership responsibility and manager for our training programs, that will be in charge of all the implementation of this course, and with the possibility to open new programs in this subject. Thank you all colleagues of TIACA for these 3-4 years of coordination and flexibility in the negotiation. I think that now we have a very essential product and very key in the moment that we are living. So I think that we have to explain better our work, and we have to explain better what is the competency that this program is bringing to the international community, and what is the effort of TIACA and ICAO working together in that. Thank you. Thank you to all.
Glenn, do you want to, now that you're back?
Thank you. Thank you, Charles. Yes, tech is always great with you and not so good against. I just wanted to say what a pleasure it is to actually be participating in this session today for something which is actually so crucially important for the industry. You know, the last 12 months have shown us that the air cargo industry, when it comes together, moving things of very sensitive nature, can have huge benefit for society. So it's critical that we focus on the safe supply chain, not just today, but also for the industry going forward, because the products that the industry is going to be increasingly carrying are the sensitive cargoes. So it's critical. It's also critical for global society when you think that about 35% of international trade travels by air every year. And we know that in the last 12 months, it's had increased focus and attention because of the vaccines and because of the medical supplies and PPE. But safety is something that this industry has to have at the center of what it does every day. So I'm looking forward to listening to yourself, Charles. And, you know, I think that this is very timely. It's a wonderful partnership between SASI, ICAO, and TIACA. And I know Kenneth gave an intro about TIACA, so I'll not repeat that. But we're very pleased and looking forward to this course having further success. So with that, I hand it back to you, Charles.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Charles Edwards. I am Vice President of SASI in the Learning and Development section. And it's a pleasure to have worked with our colleagues at TIACA and also at ICAO in conceptualizing this course and developing it. And we've had a couple of times we've had the opportunity to actually present it to a variety of people. So what I'm going to do is compress 3.5 days of the course into about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to hit the highlights, the structure, the contents, but more importantly, the objectives of the course, which have been covered by both Diego and Glenn and by Kenneth. So let's just jump right into this. Come on. And of course, my computer, there we go. So there's 3 instructors. The way we at SASI have created this course and other courses we've created for TIACA is we believe in a collaborative interchange of ideas. This is not a lecture. This is where the participants in the workshop are able to ask questions, hopefully pointed questions of the instructors, and we respond as best we can, or sometimes we've found out that somebody else on the course has the right answer, and we encourage that participation. Lillian is the lead. As you can see, her title, she's in charge of all learning and training at SASE. She has about 30 plus years in the business, both in freight forwarding and the airlines. Bala, if you don't know Bala, you don't know anything about DGR. He has been in this space for over 40 years, spent 20 plus years with Emirates on operations and also in training, and has been on his own as an instructor, working primarily in the subcontinent, but also throughout Africa. And I'm the old guy. I've got about 50 years, but I'm multimodal. I've worked on marine, road, rail, and most of my time is on the air side. So we bring a diversity of experiences from different perspectives to the course, which we believe is important to let the workshop participants have maximum benefit of participating. These are the course objectives. These 6 points, developed in concert with ICAO and TIACA, guide the structure of the course and how it's conducted, and also leads to the long-term results, objectives of the course itself. It's all about safety, as has been identified by both Glenn and Diego, but we go beyond that. So let's move forward into the structure. It's 3 days, well, 3.5 days. The last half day is actually for a final assessment or an examination. And here is the structure of the first day. Module 1, background. Modules 1 and 2 actually is to provide to people within the industry how they work with others, how they should work with others, and the interplay between them. It's not, I'm responsible only for this. It's, we are responsible for all of this. Safety leadership is just that. How do I play a role? How do I influence the outcomes of creating a safe and secure environment for the movement of goods, regardless of the mode? Because as we know, air cargo is part of the supply chain. It's not the entire supply chain. Typically, a freight will come to an airport by truck and it will leave an airport by truck. Some cases, other modes are used. The second day, we start to dive into some of the real details of how to structure such a program. So we learn, or the workshop participants learn about all of the SARPs, and we'll get into that in a minute. We also provide the context of risk management. You cannot eliminate all risks. You cannot eliminate all hazards. You have to understand how to identify them and how to mitigate them. In some cases, eliminate them, but more than likely, you're just going to have to deal with them. And then what are the critical success factors? What are those factors, and how do they play a role in creating an overall safe and secure supply chain? The third day is where we turn the course on its head, if you will, and ask the participants to actually lead the course. We give them a case study. The case study has been purpose written for this program. They are assigned into groups. They prepare a response to the case. We challenge them with questions, and then they make a presentation back to the instructors. We've used this in other courses we've developed for TIACA, the Air Cargo Professional Development Program that's been in existence since 2014. It allows us to make sure that they've understood the content, but by challenging them to actually teach us, they learn a lot more from the course itself. Module 8 is they evaluate us and we evaluate them, and then we help them in preparation for the revision under Module 9, which will occur with Module 10. This is a 3-hour multiple choice short answer. You can read that. It is closed book. And at the end of this, we issue final grades on behalf of Tiaka and Akeo, and they receive a certificate from both. Here's just the grading structure. In-class participation is a significant element. If people are, and we'll tease people out to participate in the class, we believe that that is essential for us to know that they're learning and for them to have the confidence that they know that they're learning. So it works both ways. Each module begins with this slide, this type of a slide. You can read what I've highlighted in red at the bottom. That's what we're really trying to drive through the content and our discussion to an outcome for the workshop participants. In an asynchronous environment, partial asynchronous environment, we provide to all of the participants all of the slides, and then we meet with them and we discuss the content. And that's how this course is structured when we cannot meet in person. The supply chain trends, it's future-proofing the supply chains. What happened 5 years ago is gone. Diego mentioned how we are seeing a radical change from consolidations to individual shipments. What does that mean? We also know that it is no longer the shipper that is controlling the movement of goods. It's the beneficial cargo owner who typically is the consignee. What does that mean? In many cases, they haven't got a clue as to the rules and the regulations of air cargo transportation, but they need to understand that. And it is everybody's responsibility throughout the system to convey those requirements to them. Safety leadership, you can read what's highlighted at the bottom of the slide, but it's really how does everybody within the supply chain take responsibility and participate in creating an overall safe environment. You cannot point to the safety officer and say that's their responsibility. That's long gone. It's everybody's responsibility. That's the first day. In the second day, and this is run by Bala because he's an expert on this, that's really where we go after all of the SARPs. Understand their structure and understand how they relate to each other, and also understand how they can be applied. And we use this diagram to show all of these specific annexes, how they all interrelate. Of course, there's a lot more detail within that particular module. Follows that is a group discussion. Again, we want the students, the workshop participants, to work together, to challenge each other, and to respond to questions which we may put forth for their consideration or they may come up with. Again, we believe that this is the best way for people to really learn and to show each other that they have learned the subject. We then move into risk management. What is risk management? What's the structure? How do you prioritize risks? Which ones should you really focus in on? Which one you have to, well, let me back up. You need to focus on all of them, but in what order do you focus in on them in order to efficiently use the resources that you have at hand? Here's just an example of applying risk management. In this case, we, with the help of Akeo, turned this course around to add in elements related to the movement of COVID-19 vaccine shipments. This does not replace existing programs which have been developed. It complements. It provides a higher level perspective on what's involved. This course is primarily, but not exclusively, for people in a supervisory, managerial, director level position, so that they have a good understanding of everything and then they can rely on the experts who are responsible for each element of, in this case, movement of the vaccine. It could be anything, could be protection of equipment against lithium batteries, whatever the situation is. The bottom line is aligning everybody into the same focus. Critical success factors, this is the end of the presentation part of the course. So this is the end of the second day, is, as I've mentioned previously under risk management, how do you prioritize the actions? What actions do you prioritize? And how do you ensure that those critical success factors ensure that everybody within the organization, every task within the organization, and more importantly, within the supply chain, is all coordinated. So the conclusions out of the course are these. Consistency is probably the prime objective of any safe and secure supply chain. And that is the overall riding theme that we present to the participants and get their input into what are the challenges to create consistency. Is it cultural? Is it language? Is it situational? What are they? And for them to understand workarounds or challenge themselves to not do it the way it's always been done, but to look for a better way to accomplish the mission. Case study preparation, we allow time within the course, both online and of course, if it's in person, for the groups to get together to study the case. Like any good case, it doesn't have all of the answers. It doesn't have all of the information. Welcome to the real world. They're allowed to go and use any source that they want. But the objective is, and again, there is no right or wrong answer, is show us what you've learned. Show us how you work together, because that's a significant factor in the design of the course, but also in creating a safe supply chain. And then come back to us in the next phase, which is the presentation. So each, depending on the size of the course, each group has about 20 minutes to make a presentation using a PowerPoint slide environment. And we assess, again, there's no right or wrong answer, but how do they work together? Everybody has to present. How do they structure the presentation? And what were their findings or recommendations at the end of this element? Then, as I said before, review the course. We want their candid review of how well we've done or not accomplished what their expectations or objectives of the course were, so that we can continuously improve the course, its structure, its delivery, etc. But we also turn and provide candid, supportive assessments of how well they've done to date. We then sit with them both online and definitely in person, and respond to questions that they may have about the content before they move to the final stage, which is the assessment, which will be on the last day, the half day, if you will. That's the course. And in less than 15 minutes, these are the dates. We have a course coming up. At this point, everything is online. Eventually, we would like to move into a in-person. We believe that the benefits to us as the instructors, as well as the participants, is manifoldly higher than if it's done online. But you can see the dates, the times, and for an in-person, for an online environment, it's a 4-hour session. Sometimes it starts later. Sometimes it ends sooner. It depends on the course participants and how well they're working through the situation. And maybe, crossing fingers, maybe from October on, depending on the pandemic, we can be meeting in person. So with that, I am complete. And if there's any questions, I guess, Kenneth, you're going to ask those questions or relay the questions. I'm more than happy to respond. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Yes, absolutely. If anybody has any questions right now, I see that two have raised their hand. Let me go ahead and, you know what, I'll just allow her to talk. Aldina Gomez, do you hear me? You could please go ahead and ask your question. I've given you the permission to speak to the panel. Okay, let's give Aldina a second to, and now, you know what, I have Bruce here also. Bruce Rogers, he's a TIACA member. He's with Director General of CIFA. Hey, Bruce, I just giving you permission to speak. How are you?
Yeah, very good, Kenneth, and thank you very much for sharing that with me. Greatly appreciate the course overview. I think it's very detailed and just an excellent presentation overall. The pricing of such material, will that be available to us at some point in time as well?
Yeah, the pricing has been worked out between TIACA and ICAO per individual. If it's, well, it's virtual right now, so it's $800 per person for the virtual version.
Great, thank you very much for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining, Bruce. Let's go back to Aldina. Aldina, do you hear us right now? If you have a question, you have the permission to speak.
Hello, I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
Thank you for joining us, Aldina. What is your question?
I haven't any question in moment.
Okay. Thank you for joining us anyway.
I joined now.
All right. Okay. Well, if anybody has questions, feel free to send them over to us. My name is Kenneth Gibson. My email is kgibson, KGIBSON @tiaca.org. I'll be reaching out to everybody with a recording. To all those who registered and didn't attend, and those who registered and attended, thank you for doing so. I'll be reaching out with a recording to you guys, just so you can make sure that you don't miss out on anything. If you'd like to go back to it and confirm any stats, any details, you can always reach out to us as well. Thank you all for joining us, and I look forward to having you attend the class in one of the upcoming sessions. Oh, and before I let you guys go, I have one question here in the Q&A. What is, and this would be for Charles, what is the target audience and the level of experience?
So the target audience, we believe, and in developing the course, it's more focused on supervisor and up. As far as within the worldwide air cargo logistics industry, it's everybody. So shippers, consignees, freight forwarders, airlines, ground handlers, the entire panoply, all of the cohorts of the industry. In fact, the more diverse the complexion of the workshop, the better, because we want this course not just to provide information, but for the exchange of information and questions between the participants. And somebody may say, oh, that's why you do that. Well, if you did it this way, it would make my life easier. We've observed that in some of the ACPD courses that we've done for TIACA in the past.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Charles.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody else have any more questions? Feel free to use this time now to chime in.
Kenneth, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, just a few words of final comments from me, from Laura Camastra, ICAO Global Aviation Training. I would like once again to thank TIACA for organizing this very, very important webinar to raise awareness on this course, and the SASE team. We've worked incredibly well with all of you. It's been a great experience to work together. The course is very valid. The feedback that we have received so far from the people who have taken the course or are participating in the briefing is excellent. So we really encourage you all to consider the opportunity of attending this course. And the SASE team, they are incredible instructors, very good developers. The course is really relevant to what we need right now in the industry. And thank you again for TIACA for this partnership. We're looking forward to actually even expanding the scope of our partnership in some bigger programs. So thank you once again.
Absolutely, Laura. Thank you for those words, and to the whole ICAO family and SASE as well for always being a part of this consistent movement to educate the industry and be a resource to them. Not just an association or not just an organization that creates programs or there's a real energy behind this type of courses and training, and we hope that everybody can take advantage of it. I have one question really fast for Charles from Ricardo Machuca Valenzuela. He's asking if the course is applicable to aeronautical authorities.
Yes, the answer is, and in fact, we've actually been asked by the Chilean DGCA to present the course to them at some time in the future. They're going through a lockdown right now, so we're not sure of the timing, but absolutely. If the regulatory agencies fully understand all of the nuances of moving freight, we do in the business, but if they also understand all of those nuances, then everything is going to be better, we believe. And so we're encouraged by at least the Chilean authorities reaching out and saying we would like to have a course.
Thanks, Charles. Ricardo had also asked prior to this question if the course is only available in English, to which I told him that at the moment it is.
Correct, but with the Chilean interest, we're looking at providing both simultaneous translation as well as translation of the contents. And we've also been asked by the Chinese, thanks to Laura and her team. So we're looking at how do we present it. My Chinese is lousy, so it's not going to be me, but to have definitely the content available in Chinese as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for that. All right, hope we got one. Perfect. No problem, Ricardo. Well, thank you everybody for joining. Again, you can feel free to send your questions if they come up today, later, whenever you think about them, send them over, and we'd be happy to answer them. And we look forward to seeing you guys in one of the upcoming virtual courses.
Right. We're ready to teach or to instruct. So the more, the merrier.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.